Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. Today I'm really excited because I'm here with my review of the all-new 12th generation Kindle Paperwhite, and the model that I'm going to be reviewing today is the Signature Edition. And I'm really excited because it's been quite a few years since we've seen a upgraded Kindle Paperwhite. The last time we saw a upgrade was back in 2021, and that was a huge refinement from the previous generation Kindle Paperwhite. So now that it's been 3 years, the first thing that I can tell you is that they are very similar, but at the same time, there are amazing refinements that have been done to this new one that I think makes it a worthy upgrade. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the design. Now, when you first look at the Kindle Paperwhite and when you compare it side by side to the previous generation, you're not going to find a huge difference. Now, when Amazon first announced this new Kindle Paperwhite, I was kind of excited because I read that it was a 7-inch display. So at first I thought they were reducing the borders so that you get the same physical footprint of the previous generation, which is very comfortable to hold in one hand, and yet at the same time get a larger display. But when you look at them side by side, to be very honest, the bezels are pretty much identical. They didn't reduce the bezels, and that's fine because you're still getting a larger 7-inch display in comparison to the 6.8-inch display. But if you look at the overall, body or footprint and put them side by side, they're actually relatively almost the same size. So what Amazon did is they made it slightly taller and slightly wider by 2 millimeters from both sides, and you are not going to notice that at all. So if that's a concern that you had, that with the larger display, do you sacrifice on the portability? You're not. They're pretty much identical in size. Now, one thing I can immediately notice from a design perspective is that they have rounded the corners, so it looks a lot more smoother and much more refined than the previous Kindle Paperwhite. But they didn't just round the device itself, they also rounded up the display, which I think looks really nice because we're living in a day and age where I feel like it's more modern to have a rounded display. You see that with smartphones and tablets and now computers as well. So it only makes sense that Amazon brought that rounded design language to their Kindle. So I think it's not a game changer by any means, but it is a small refinement or a small detail that I do appreciate. Now, the biggest change that I noticed was the back, because this is the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. So this has a metallic finish, which I really, really like. If you saw my review for the previous generation Kindle Paperwhite, that was also a Signature Edition, but that Signature Edition and the standard Kindle Paperwhite both had the same plastic back, and it's great for grip, but you would get a lot of oil stains and fingerprints on it, and that's something I don't really appreciate because I don't like to put a case on the Kindle. Now with the new Kindle Paperwhite, you still get the same grippy plastic back, but if you go for the Signature Edition, you get this nice metallic finish, which looks much more premium, much more elegant, and it feels really nice to the touch. This is something I said in my previous reviews of the Kindle Paperwhite. Please bring a metallic premium finish, and they did exactly that. So I love the back of this, and this is the new metallic jade color. Looks really beautiful, really elegant. They also have a metallic raspberry color, and they also have the standard black as well. So that's pretty much it from a design perspective. It feels very comfortable, to hold in your hand. It's fairly light, very thin. And once again, if you are used to the previous Kindle Paperwhite, you're not going to feel a difference, and that's a good thing because this was very comfortable to hold, and you're getting the same thing with this as well, but with the larger display and rounded corners. All right, so now that we've talked about the design, now let's talk about the reading experience, because that is probably perhaps the most important thing. Reading on the previous generation Kindle Paperwhite was amazing. It was a joy to pick that up and just start reading on it because it had a nice bright display. The pixels per inch were great. The resolution was great. The fact that it was a Signature Edition, so I got the auto adjusting front light was really nice, and this one has it as well. And it having that warm light feature, so it goes from a cooler light to a warm amber light based on your lighting situation, was also very, very nice and easy on the eye as well. And once again, all of that has been brought to this device as well. Now, one thing Amazon did do is that they increased the contrast ratio. So you have a higher contrast ratio than ever before, and that's really helpful because the blacks are a lot darker. So when you're reading with a white background, the text feels more crisp and pops out more. And if you are someone who likes to read in dark mode, then the whole background feels like it's true black more than ever before. That larger display does make a difference because the larger the display, the more content you get to view. The more content you get to view, the less page turns that you have to do. And also, speaking of page turns, Amazon did improve the performance of this device. So page turns are now 25% faster. Now you might be wondering, it's page turns, why does that matter? Well, when you have a device dedicated for reading books, and you're literally the only thing you're doing is just tapping the screen to go from one page to the next, faster page turns do make a difference. And that is something I immediately noticed when I was reading on this new Kindle Paperwhite. Now, Amazon didn't just stop there. The overall device is 20% faster. So when you're going through settings or you're adjusting the brightness levels or just anything, whether you're tapping through the bookstore, whatever you're doing, everything is 20% faster. And once again, that is something you do notice right away. Now, a part of me did wonder why Amazon didn't give us a higher resolution display or a brighter display. But the thing is, the previous Kindle Paperwhite was already so fantastic. So the improvements that they've made now by making it faster, giving it a larger display, updated, refinement to the design, that overall makes a huge improvement to the overall form factor and the reading experience. So they didn't really have to do much to begin with, but whatever they did do makes a difference. Now let's talk about battery life. Now, with the previous generation Kindle Paperwhite, I had no issues with that battery life. I think it gave around anywhere between 10 to 12 weeks of battery life, and it pretty much lived up to that. And this one, Amazon is saying is the same. It's gonna give you about 12 weeks of battery life. And to be very honest, I don't really like talking about the battery life too much about Kindles because you're only charging it like maybe once every 2 months or so, right? So for a device like this, you just plug it in maybe once a month if you want to, or maybe once every 2 months, and you're good to go. So, if this was like a smartphone where you had to plug it in every single day or every other day, I talk more about it in detail. But if you buy any Kindle, you're gonna get great battery life. And of course, this is the signature edition, so you get wireless charging on it. That is something you don't get with the standard Kindle Paperwhite. And wireless charging is pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's a huge game changer, but if you're someone like me who charges everything wirelessly, the AirPods, iPhone, this is a nice addition because I can just literally lay it on one of my portable charging devices and it'll just start charging right away. Once again, not a big feature, but it's nice to have. All right, so we've talked about the design, we've talked about the display, we've talked about the reading experience, and we've also talked about the battery life. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between the standard Kindle Paperwhite and the signature edition? I talked about it a little bit throughout this video, but now I wanna tell you guys if it's worth paying 40 bucks more to go for this one, because the standard Kindle Paperwhite starts at $159 and this one is $199. So one of the first differences, and I think perhaps one of the most noticeable differences you're gonna get with the signature edition, is that metallic back. And once again, if you're someone who just puts a case on their device, that's fine. I don't like a case because I like the thin and light form factor, and I don't want like a flap or something to always, be turning over. I do have a sleeve, so when I'm traveling and stuff, I have this really nice sleeve from Comfeeable. It's really luxurious, looks very nice, comes in various different colors. I have the link to it in the description below if you want to check it out, but this is almost pretty much in that sleeve. But overall, I don't have a case on it. So because of me not using a case, this bag does make a big difference to me. I don't get any fingerprints or oil stains on it. It's beautiful and feels very nice to the touch. And if you go for the standard Kindle Paperwhite, you get that same plastic bag that you've seen with previous generations. The second difference is you get wireless charging, like I said. You don't get wireless charging on the standard Kindle Paperwhite. The third feature is the storage. On the standard Kindle Paperwhite, you get 16 gigabytes of base storage. With the signature edition, you get 32 gigabytes of base storage. So if you're someone who's storing a lot of books and PDFs and documents, you may really like the upgraded storage on the new signature edition. Now, the next feature that is exclusive to the signature edition is a auto adjusting front light. Now, that may not sound like a big deal at first, but hear me out. You see, we're so used to tablets and smartphones and computers automatically adjusting the light based on your environment. We're so used to it that we don't even know that that's a great feature to have, right? There's been so many different environments that I am when I'm reading a book. Sometimes I'm in the dark, sometimes I'm in bright sunlight. And I appreciate the fact that the device realizes which environment that I'm in and adjusts the lighting situation to that. And that's something that's very helpful and very, very nice. You don't have to constantly manually be going into the settings and adjusting the brightness. It does it for you. And lastly, you don't get any ads on the signature edition. If you get the standard Kindle Paperwhite, you get ads on there, even on the lock screen. Whereas if you get for the signature edition, you don't get any ads. So even the lock screen is really cool because it shows you the cover of the book that you're reading. And I really appreciate that. I know it's a small touch, but it makes a difference. You can pay $20 more on the standard Kindle Paperwhite to remove those ads. But once again, if you pay $40, not only do you get the ads removed, but you also get wireless charging, double the storage, the auto adjusting front lights, and the metallic finish. So I think now more than ever before, for $40, you're getting an added benefit of going for the signature edition. At the end of the day, the new 12th generation Kindle Paperwhite is an absolutely amazing e-reader. I will go as far as to say it's the best e-reader in the market. I'm so happy they bumped up the screen size so you get a 7-inch display now. I like the rounded corners. I like the new metallic finish of the new signature edition. And I like the higher contrast ratio. And I think all these little things add up to give you a better reading experience. So if you are an avid reader and you're in the market for a new Kindle or any e-reader, I would highly suggest that you check out the new Kindle Paperwhite. And yes, I do think it's worth paying $40 more and going for the signature edition. But at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts or questions about the new Kindle Paperwhite? Whatever they are, leave them down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I'm going to be doing more videos on the Kindle, not just this one, but also the new Color Soft that's coming out. I'll do a full unboxing and review for that as well. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.